Ladies and gentlemen, success doesn't begin when the world is cheering your name. It doesn't begin when the spotlight hits you or when the applause fills the room. Success starts in silence. It begins in those quiet moments when no one is watching. When the noise of the world fades and all that's left is you, your thoughts, your doubts, your dreams. It's in that silence where the real battle happens, where you decide who you're going to be, what you're willing to sacrifice, and how far you're willing to go. Most people run from silence because it forces them to face themselves. But champions lean into it. They understand that silence is not empty. It's full of answers because it's in the stillness that you build your strength. It's in the solitude that you sharpen your vision. And it's in the quiet that you plant the seeds of greatness that one day the world will see. So today, I want you to remember this. Your success story doesn't start with noise. It starts with discipline, focus, and the courage to listen to that inner voice that says, keep going. The world may not hear you yet, but the silence is where your transformation begins. Silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of clarity. When everything around you becomes chaotic and the world is constantly demanding your attention, silence becomes your greatest ally. It is in silence that the mind resets, recharges, and reconnects with what truly matters. Too often, people mistake movement for progress, noise for productivity, and business for success. But the truth is, the most powerful breakthroughs in life don't happen when you are surrounded by noise. They happen in stillness. When you allow yourself to disconnect from distractions, you begin to see things from a higher perspective. You can't create a powerful vision for your life when your mind is clouded with chaos. Silence gives you the space to see where you are, who you are, and where you truly want to go. Every great leader, creator, or visionary has one thing in common. They've learned how to sit with themselves in silence. They understand that real vision isn't formed by external influences. It's crafted internally in moments of quiet reflection. In silence, your intuition speaks louder than the opinions of others. You begin to distinguish between what the world expects of you and what your soul desires for you. That's where clarity is born. Without that clarity, you can't build direction, and without direction, success is nothing but a distant dream. In today's world, silence is rare. We live in an age of constant stimulation, notifications, conversations, opinions, and comparisons fill every moment. Most people fear silence because it confronts them with their own thoughts. But that's exactly why it's so powerful. When you can sit quietly and face your inner world without needing distraction, you start to understand yourself on a deeper level. You see your patterns, your fears, your limiting beliefs. And once you see them, you can change them. Silence becomes the space where growth takes root. It's where you develop awareness, and awareness is the foundation of transformation. Think of silence as a mirror for the mind. In the reflection of stillness, you see both your strengths and your weaknesses. You recognize what drives you and what drains you. It's where you realize that your next level of success doesn't come from adding more noise or chasing more goals. It comes from alignment. When you know your purpose and vision clearly, every action becomes intentional. That's the power of silence. It transforms confusion into conviction. Many people seek success without ever seeking silence, and that's why they feel lost even when they achieve their goals. They're climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls because they never took the time to ask themselves what truly matters. Silence allows you to reconnect with your why. It strips away the superficial layers of ambition and reveals the deeper reason behind your actions. When you know why you're doing something, you become unstoppable. Success built without clarity is temporary. Success built on silence and vision is unshakable. When you cultivate silence in your daily life, through reflection, meditation, or simply disconnecting from the noise, you build a foundation that nothing can break. You learn to operate from intention rather than impulse. You stop reacting and start creating. And that's when your life begins to align with your true potential. So when you feel lost, overwhelmed, or uncertain about your next move, don't seek answers in the noise. Step back, get quiet, listen, because in that stillness, the direction will come. Silence will reveal what distractions try to hide, your true vision, and when you act from that vision, you no longer chase success, you attract it. Success doesn't come to the loudest. It comes to the most focused, the most aligned, and the most centered. And all of that begins in silence. Discipline is born in silence because that's where distractions lose their power. When the noise fades and the world stops pulling you in 100 directions, you meet the version of yourself that either acts or makes excuses. In the stillness, there's no one to impress, no spotlight, and no external validation, just you and the commitment you've made to your goals. It's in those quiet moments when you decide to show up, even when no one is watching, that discipline begins to form. Discipline isn't built by motivation, it's forged through consistency. Motivation is loud and exciting, but it fades. Discipline is silent and steady, and it grows stronger every time you keep a promise to yourself, even when no one would know if you didn't. When distractions disappear, you start to see how much energy you've been wasting on things that don't serve your growth. Every notification, every opinion, every comparison slowly drains your focus. But when you intentionally choose silence, you reclaim that energy. You give your mind room to breathe and your focus a place to land. Discipline thrives in focus. It's the muscle that strengthens every time you resist the temptation to drift. Success doesn't come from doing big things occasionally. It comes from doing the small, necessary things consistently. And that kind of consistency can only grow in the absence of distraction. In silence, you can hear your excuses clearly. You can see the moments when you're tempted to settle or stop. And that awareness is powerful. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware enough to redirect yourself back on track. Most people fail to stay disciplined because they never slow down long enough to notice when they're drifting. Silence gives you that awareness. It allows you to pause, reflect, and realign your actions with your purpose. When distractions disappear, you learn how to hold yourself accountable in the quiet. That's where real self-mastery begins, not in the noise of motivation, but in the discipline of solitude. Discipline is the bridge between intention and execution, and silence is the foundation that holds that bridge steady. Without silence, you can't build the mental strength needed to stay committed. Every day, the world tries to pull you off course with doubt, fear, and the comfort of shortcuts. But when you train your mind to find power in quiet moments, you stop reacting to every external influence. You become intentional. You create space between impulse and action, and in that space, discipline thrives. The greatest athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders understand this truth. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's waking up early when no one will ever praise you for it. It's saying no to distractions when saying yes will be easier. It's spending time in silence to plan, to visualize, to prepare for what's ahead. These are the unseen moments that create visible success. The public sees the rewards. The private silence is where they're earned. When distractions disappear, your priorities become crystal clear. You stop wasting time trying to do everything and start doing what truly matters. You begin to trust yourself more because you know you can follow through. That internal trust, that confidence in your own consistency becomes unstoppable power. Silence teaches you that discipline isn't about punishment. It's about respect. Respect for your goals, your time, and your potential. In a world that rewards speed and noise, discipline asks you to slow down and focus. It's not about how fast you move. It's about how intentionally you move. And that intention is cultivated in quiet. Every great success story is written between the lines of silence, in the moments when someone chose focus over distraction, effort over comfort, purpose over chaos. So if you want to master your mind, master your focus. Create silence. In that space, discipline will rise, and once discipline takes root, success becomes inevitable.